And a very pleasant good evening, everybody. Welcome in. It's a midweek Wednesday night. A lot of people call it hump day, don't they? Maybe you do wherever you come from. Happy to have Matt Poe in the house tonight. Matt is a sports performance specialist. It all sounds so high-tech, does it not? And it really is. I mean, he pumps iron, yes, and he's a power lifter, and he has been, and he does a lot of things. He's a speed performance kind of guy as well. He's worked with a lot of NFL athletes that you know and love. And so Matt is here tonight to kind of help you and I learn some things about some cancer programs that he's involved in, how you rehab cancer patients and some of the things that he's doing there. We're kind of dancing all around what it is Matt's actually going to talk about here tonight in that regard, but we'll let him fill you in on that. But it's going to be an interesting hour, so call your friends and neighbors. Tell everybody they need to be watching now. If you're interested in sports performance, and you don't have to be an athlete, and this is really a show not about athletes as you watch this and want to know how you can help yourself, because he does help an awful lot of athletes, and he uses a lot of the same techniques that he would use with athletes for you and I. And so we hope it's going to be an interesting program from that standpoint. We'll introduce Matt for you here in just a moment. Say hello to our friend Matt Poe.
Hello.
Matt Poe, let's see. I guess I've been knowing you since you was about 7 or 8 years old, something like that, little bitty guy. You weren't nearly as built as you are now, tugging on your daddy's coattail, and now you've grown up to just be a big guy, and you just got a wonderful business going on, and you're doing some wonderful things for a lot of people.
Thank you.
So I said that you are a sports performance specialist. Indeed you are.
Yes, sir.
Kind of explain that.
Basically what a sports performance specialist is, I'm going to take movements on the field and make them faster, make them more efficient.
That's the speed part.
Pretty simple, sure.
I mean, I guess there isn't any sport that you don't want to be fast at.
Right.
There's
no sport that you don't want to be efficient at. You want to maximize, you want to optimize your movements.
Right.
And most athletes work at their maximal points, and they're always achieving to get to their optimal levels. So that's the challenge, to get to your optimal levels. And the more range of motion, the more probability of making a mistake and getting injured.
Mm-hmm. So you're working with top class athletes, both college and pro, high school.
Sure.
Right on down to whatever age group.
Yeah, we start about 5 years old.
Do you really? Seriously?
Seriously.
Wow. Okay. I didn't.
But I make sure the athletes want to do it, not the parents.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
That's
because, you know, that's not going to last very long if it's just the parents wanting them to do it, right?
Right. And
we all know that. Now,
you wouldn't believe how that trickles up to even the professional level.
No, I certainly would. I want you to kind of bring us up to date now on how you got engaged in all of this. I know your father, you know, was certainly a huge influence on you.
He was the biggest influence. A little bit about my father. You know, he was Mr. Tennessee in powerlifting and bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. He was Mr. Nashville in bench press. Mm-hmm. And you'll talk to so many people, as I will day to day, that say that he was the first man that they ever saw bench 500 pounds. But not only bench it, rep it. So when you see that as a little kid, you're like, wow.
Daddy, you're something else.
Exactly. Yeah. He was big into the strength, of course, but then I watched him coach. You know, he was at Wichita State. He was at Tennessee State University when they won the national championship, and I believe that was 73.
73 or 72.
Yeah, and I was about 1 year old then. And he was at Wichita State in the late 60s. And that was a point where there wasn't strength and conditioning. He was doing what I do now.
He was a pioneer.
Exactly, he was. And John Stuckey, who was at University of Tennessee forever and who was my weight coach at the University of Tennessee, held me when I was a baby, listening to my dad teaching him how to, you know,
and where'd your dad learn all this stuff? Trial and error?
Pretty much.
There weren't a whole lot of manuals on it, were there?
There weren't a whole lot of manuals, but I believe that it was probably a true sanctuary. He found his sanctuary in weights, as I have found it at a young age, and still continue to compete and love it.
You suppose he might call in tonight?
You awake, Ned? You awake? He's awake.
You may have to pay for
Channel
that.
5 Plus. Channel 5 Plus.
You may have to pay for that.
So, but he was the biggest.
Martin Poe, we're talking about.
He was the biggest influence, definitely.
Good.
Back when I started, you know, speed development, no one knew what speed development was.
Exactly.
And you go back to
and you know what? A lot of people now don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is. I mean, really what you're talking about is biomechanics, again, making movements more efficient.
Right.
To
All right, drop some names. Just drop some names.
Chris Sanders, Josh Evans, Jason Witten, Derek Mason.
Okay. Okay,
just
some
mention a
guys
few.
that certainly people around here know a lot about.
Exactly.
And you have helped them become faster.
Sure. And they've bought into my philosophy. I have a different philosophy, Hope. Work, heart. I want to create separation with my athletes. And that's why my athletes come to me. We want to do things on cold days, the coldest. There's no such thing as an indoor facility. We want to get out there in the elements. I want you to create separation to get as far away from your competitors as you can. So that's my philosophy, create separation. That's how I get a lot of these guys. And when they really get down deep in their heart, they want a guy like me.
Now, I got to go back to the create separation because I'm not understanding that exactly. Break it down for me.
Let's
All
say
right,
this.
I'm an athlete. I'm a world-class athlete.
You're a world-class athlete.
And I come to you and say, Matt, I'm a wide receiver. I need to be a little faster because there's some drop-dead DB backs out there that are killing me.
Well, I got news for you, Hope. We're gonna map out your workout routine. I don't care if it's rain, snow, or sleet. We're going to be outside doing it. Now, can you accept that first? Can you accept that right off the bat?
So we don't do anything inside?
We're not doing any. As far as speed development, we'll get in the weight room for sure, but as far as actually getting on the field and doing practical moves and trying to reach your optimal position,
so don't
we're
call
outside.
up and say, hey, Matt, it's a little too cold out there today. Why don't we wait till tomorrow? We don't do that.
No, I mean, I'll either call the agent or the head coach and say, hey, I'm the wrong guy, okay?
Okay, get him out of here.
Because obviously you don't want to develop his heart. That's what I'm going to develop.
That's what you said. You said heart.
Yeah, we're going to develop that heart. And,
see, nobody coaches heart, Matt. You do, though.
I think they're scared to do it.
You're the first I've ever heard talk about coaching for a heart.
You can coach heart, but
coaches have always said, I can't. You either got it or you don't.
Yeah.
What do you say?
It depends on what you're talking about. Are you talking about aggressiveness?
Okay.
Relative to the heart?
Go ahead.
I think you were talking earlier in your prelude about, the Titans being the dirtiest team.
Yeah.
If I could play today, I'd like to be on that team.
Okay.
Because you've got to have a dual personality.
Yep. You got to
when you walk out on that field, it's a war. That's all it is a war, plain and simple.
Right.
And you have to win those little individual battles on there to win that war.
Okay, hang on. What you got? Matt Poe's our special guest. We're talking about sports performance enhancement, shall we say? And we'll continue on this Wednesday night. Our phone number, 737-7767. If you want to talk about, and we've got many more things we're going to get into, but if you want help, this is the guy here that can help you. We'll put his website up. It's simple. It's mattpoe.com. We'll continue right after this.